Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Pond Professor here. I'm coming to you from Sugar Grove. This is my home, and I just got off the phone with Joseph Carter, the Mink Man. Really cool guy. Had a great time talking with him and learning about what he does with his animals, and I found out that he has a little bit of a problem. He wants to train his mink to live in aquatic environments and learn to hunt. Joseph actually trains his mink for hunting as well as pest control. He's using fish tanks, kiddie swimming pools. I have never done a project for mink before. I am looking forward to the challenge of this particular project. Let me show you some of the ideas that I have right now. So mink, if you're not familiar with mink, really cool animal. It is known as a riparian animal. It's found along river corridors, along the perimeters of lakes, rivers, and streams. A very good hunter, an incredible predator. It makes its way in and out of the water, looking for frogs, crayfish, muskrats, fish, turtles, frogs, you name it, anything that lives along that area. So those riparian habitats are extremely diverse. There's a ton of life, and these animals have adapted to become really incredible predators in that environment. So Joseph sent me some pictures of his backyard and the area where he's thinking of doing this water feature. He has an existing fence. He's got a little bit of a shed located over in here, and he's going to be adding in another fence on this side. And then he also has some existing concrete edging over in here. So he's looking for the water feature in this zone. This entire area from one end to the other is about 40 feet long. So what I want to do is come up with a water feature design that kind of mimics some of the natural riparian corridors where mink would be found. But I also want to make something that is going to help Joseph train his animals. He has a mixture of babies all the way through adults, and each one of them are going to get comfortable in water in different ways. So I'm going to have some shallow water zones up in these little pooling areas here, as well as our intake bay. I ended up going with something like that versus a traditional skimmer because the intake bay is more animal proof. So usually when I'm working with zoos, people that are going to be keeping turtles and different types of live animals inside of the pond, we want to go with an intake bay. This is a little bit more naturalistic, but what it does is it creates a really good barrier between the water and the pump and everything. So there's a whole grid system. So I have aqua blocks and stuff like that down in here. I have my pump vault. With the aqua blocks, I'm going to have our actual block over in here, and then the pump is actually going to sit all the way down here at the very lowest location. This is made up with what we call a matrix design. The water has to flow down through the blocks to get over to the pump. On top of the blocks is going to be some river stone, so that's going to create a really good barrier for any type of animal life from getting to the pump. And mink are very smart animals. They're going to be exploring, so I want to make sure it's really difficult for them to get to that mechanical system. So from here, the water is going to get pumped up to our biofalls. I'm going to go with an oversized biofalls, and that's because of the potential waste products that are going to be generated by the mink. Going to have a series of little waterfalls and stuff like that cascading down through here. And then I want to have a series of little pools in here. What Joseph is thinking right now, 12 inches to 18 inches maximum, which should not be a problem. This entire feature probably 25 feet long, and that includes my little stream and everything. This waterfall will be visible from the main house, which will be beautiful, but the main focus for this particular project is going to be the mink. We are with the Mink Man. Joseph has got an incredible setup over here. He's kind of over that way right now. He's doing some of the morning feeding. We're getting our materials ready, and we're going to start construction on this. Joseph is going to come on out with his wife, and then we're going to get into some of the details on what he actually does here, how this feature is going to be utilized, and how we're going to build it. We've assembled a great team here. Let's go on over and meet them. All right, Mark, you want to give us a little bit of background?
My name is Mark. I'm the owner of Earth Energy Waterscapes, the Utah pond guy out here in northern Utah. Moved out here 3 years ago from California and started the business up again to fill a niche where there were no certified Aquascape contractors. Been in business for about 21 years. It's nice to be able to work with my son.
Absolutely. Mark, you and AJ have been a huge help on not only on this project, but on past projects. We've known each other for 20 plus years. Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, Ed.
So Ralph, give us a little bit of history about yourself and where you're from.
So I'm Ralph with Pondscapes out of Arizona, and we've been in business for 14 years now. I just was excited when I heard about this project. You guys have been a big help coming out and helping me when I heard about this project. I got to return the favor, and I want to play with some of the minks. I want, have a mink necklace.
We are honored to have you join us up here. I think between you, Mark, AJ, myself, we're going to have a lot of fun out here, and we'll be able to play around with the minks and as well as create a cool habitat for them. Let's go in back and we'll go hook up with Joseph and take the next steps.
My name is Joseph Carter, and I am the Mink Man. I've been an animal lover my entire life. I grew up training cattle dogs and cow horses with my grandfather, and I was an avid falconer in my teens and early 20s. When I was a senior in high school, I started learning about the American mink. I was told that mink were horrible, vicious little animals who were impossible to tame. Challenge accepted. I've been in love with mink ever since, and have devoted the last 14 years of my life to learning about this marvelous little predator. I get mink from fur farms and give them a new life. In this new life, my mink live as naturally as possible, even hunting for their dinner the way a wild mink would. So come join me on my adventures as we learn more about this intense little predator, the amazing American mink.
All right, everybody, I am with Joseph Carter. He is the Mink Man. He's got an unbelievable facility here. Could you give us a little background about yourself and what you do with these incredible animals?
I raise mink for hunting and fishing, and also do some pest control. Sometimes people have problems with like a muskrat in like a city park destroying the banks. Yeah, right there's a canal. Tons of water flows down it every year, and if the wrong hole is placed in the wrong place, we're talking millions and millions of dollars of damage at a minimum. Very serious concerns for them, and so they pay me to go out and control the muskrats. Okay, so this little guy, his name is Boone. He's about 9 weeks old. These guys are a natural predator to the muskrats. These little guys, they squeeze right down in the holes, and they'll go after the muskrats. When we're hunting like brown rats, so sometimes we'll get an infestation of brown rats like on a farm, and there's like hundreds of rats. We'll pull out half a dozen mink, because there's just rats flying everywhere. The mink go in, they'll catch everything they can, but having another mink there while they're killing one rat, the next one can come in and kill the next. And I'll also do it recreationally, so I'll go out and catch fish or frogs or other things that aren't necessarily causing a problem. It's just fun.
So we're here to build this water feature for you. I sent you a drawing initially. How are you going to end up using this?
So when they're little, they're actually pretty nervous about water because it's a survival tactic. So we want to get them out and get them exposed. The problem is now I've got a full breeding program. Training 26 babies to get over that fear of water, getting comfortable around water, it just doesn't happen.
Got it.
So they get super comfortable with kiddie pools and fish tanks. And you get them out in the real world and they're like, what is this? This is nothing like what we have at home. So it helps me to be able to train, 20, 30 mink at once. But it also benefits the mink greatly, because while they're growing and developing, they've got active minds, very hyper and high energy. It gives them a mental and a physical outlet. This gives them a great enrichment where they can burn off that energy swimming and looking for fish. So this will help them physically, mentally, and then training from a training standpoint all in one.
You showed me your fence over here. So we were talking about doing the waterfall over here in this one corner. And then we want to have a series of pools. You originally told me 18 inches of water, so that's kind of what I was thinking on for a maximum. Is that still the plan?
Is there any wiggle room? Like, would I be able to make it deeper and shallower, or does it have to stay?
No, we totally can. I mean, I sent a big enough rubber membrane. We have plenty of filtration, so that's not going to be an issue. So basically for us, it's going to be a little bit more excavation.
Like 2 feet or something?
Oh yeah, we can totally do that.
Okay, let's set it at 2 feet, and then with the option to lower it. The deeper the water, the more difficult it is. You'd think 2 feet, 18 inches, what's the difference? That's that much farther they have to dive before they get to the bottom. I want to be able to control how difficult it is. I want them to work at it. Because a lot of this is recreation and enrichment for the mink. So the harder they have to work for the fish, the better. However, at times it's training, and I want it to be doable to build their confidence and such.
I know we couldn't do a standard skimmer system because I was afraid the mink were going to get inside of the pump vault. So that has a hole in it.
That would be
They're
their
going to
favorite
go right
place to
in there. I know. So we have what we call a pump vault. It's an intake bay. I use it when I'm working with animals. Because of the way that system's designed, we could actually have the water fluctuate probably 6 to 8 inches. So you should be able to go from 24 inches down to 18 easily. So we have the waterfall up here. We were going to have like a little shallow, fast-moving stream. So we could have some areas that have water, 3 or 4 inches deep as well.
Oh, that'll be perfect for like baby mink learning.
Nice.
Because like I said, they're nervous about water to begin with early in age. And if they have to go from no water to deep water, it's super intimidating to them.
Makes
But if
sense.
they can start to kind of dip their head in and walk but without swimming, and then
Yeah.
swim but the ground's really shallow, it builds their confidence
Okay.
a ton. So that would be super useful for my baby mink.
We can definitely do that. So
Awesome.
I am totally looking forward to this.
And anyone who's been watching this little guy, 9 weeks old, super awkward and super low energy. You guys were probably thinking, man, that's a busy little thing. Anyway,
They are
I just
beautiful.
thought I'd throw that in
No,
there.
no, it's
People,
good- it's
people
good
see
advice.
cute animals and think, oh, that'd be a cool
I-
pet. Give him in 3 weeks and this would be the most difficult interview you've ever done. I mean,
So we are looking forward to the build. We have our team together. So I'm going to walk out in front. We're going to get things going. We're going to start excavation.
all right, let's
All
go.
right, let's do it. Okay, we got everything laid out. Intake bay over here. We're gonna have a deep pool in this section, intermediate pool, and shallow. So we're gonna try to set it up for all different levels of the mink, from babies all the way up to the adults. So they're gonna have different difficulty levels for hunting. One of the challenges that we have here, you can see he's got the 6-foot high fence over here to keep the mink inside. They have a pretty good vertical jump. We have to set our boulders over here, and then from the top of this boulder to the top of the fence, we have to be a minimum of 5 feet. So if the mink is right here, they could jump about 4 feet is what Joseph is saying. So he wants to make it impossible for them to get their way out. Back over here where the shed is, there's going to be another fence built 6 foot high. And then over here, this is all going to be a 4-foot fence. So again, this is going to be kind of their playground area. This is going to be where they learn and where they hunt. And he's going to do some underwater videos and things like that, which will be really, really cool. So our first step right now, we are going to set up the machine. We're going to start strapping up some of these larger boulders so we could start positioning a retaining wall along this back edge over here. And then we could have a backdrop for the excavation. Our goal on a job site like this is to keep all the soil on site. Take all this soil, we're going to build up back over here to change this topography, create more of a rolling hill type of a situation that will also give us the necessary height to create that waterfall effect. Hey, thanks for joining us on this incredible project out here in Salt Lake City. Joseph and his family have been incredible. I love listening to him, learning about his animals and his passion for nature. Join us next week as we go on an actual hunt. So we're gonna go to one of the local lakes and we're gonna see firsthand exactly how she hunts and looks for animals inside the water. And Joseph and I started talking about an underwater training course for the mink. So this is something that we're going to adapt inside of the pond. I've never done anything like this, so I'm totally looking forward to the challenge. Stay tuned until next week.